Professional wrestling. I've been asked about my favorite tag teams and who they were and if I would ever make a list of them. Since I've made a few other videos, a lot of people have been asking me to make a list of the greatest tag teams of all time, so I decided to go ahead and do it. So here we go. Number 10, Demolition. Demolition were tough wrestlers that wore face paint, leather, metal gear, and were really intimidating. And they were extraordinarily intense in the ring and had a disastrous force when it came to demolishing their opponents. Axe and Smash were certainly a great team, and fortunately they were overshadowed by huge fan favorites like the Road Warriors. Once they came to the WWF, the team quickly disbanded, and it was a shame because they did win multiple tag team championships. Number 9, the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys were known for their high-flying, uncanny abilities and their ways of taking risks. Matt and Jeff Hardy were synonymous with tag team excellence. Their innovative ladder matches, TLC bouts, and cage matches have etched their names in the WWF's annals. The Hardy Boys have held the WWE Tag Team Championship multiple times, thrilling audiences with their unique brand of tag team wrestling. Their iconic WrestleMania 33 return and their victory in the 4-way ladder match for the Raw Tag Team titles are prime examples of their enduring popularity. Number 8, Harlem Heat, often referred to as the tag team of the 90s in the WCW days. Harlem Heat rocked tag team wrestling and ultimately created one of the biggest stars of all time, Booker T. The real-life Huffman brothers, better known as Booker T and Stevie Ray, would hold the WCW World Tag Team titles 10 times in just under 6 years. Harlem Heat became an establishment in WCW glory days. Number 7, the Brainbusters. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard weren't always known as the Brainbusters, but their legacy starts way before the name was established. After Ole Anderson's departure from the Four Horsemen, the stable needed new tag teams. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson teamed up in 1987 and by the end of '88 held the NWA World Tag Team Championship twice. Leaving the NWA in '88, the pair appeared in the WWF under the management of Bobby the Brain Heenan. It was then that he named them the Brainbusters. The pair would also go on to win the WWF World Tag Team Championship. Number 6, the Rock and Roll Express. Through the years, the Rock and Roll Express had various team members, but Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton are the ones deserving of most of the credit here. One of the few teams to compete in most of the major promotions that were around during their heyday. These guys could pop the crowd not only with their babyface looks, but because they also gave the fans energetic, high-flying action in them. Number 5, the New Age Outlaws. Billy Gunn and Jesse James weren't exactly what you would call big stars. Yes, they had some success as singles with, the Brody, and Gunn would also be a champion with the Smoking Guns, but both were floundering as single competitors. After uniting, they would become one of the most hated teams in professional wrestling. They would eventually join DX and they would cheat their way to victory after victory. Not to mention, can anyone ever forget their intro of "Oh, you didn't know"? It was classic during the Attitude Era. Number 4, the Dudley Boys. Get the tables. Born from a much larger stable, Devon and Bubba Ray Dudley eventually broke away from their many brothers and formed one of the greatest tag teams of all time. If you haven't seen their promos and ringside interactions from the ECW days, find an unedited version and watch it now. It's downright brutal. Like much of the top ECW talent, they eventually caught the eye of Vince McMahon and were brought into the WWF. The fans quickly took to the pair, and it was probably one of the finest eras in tag team wrestling the business had ever seen. Number 3, the Midnight Express. Initially, they were formed by Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. The Midnight Express terrorized wrestling for nearly a decade, though the membership would often change. In fact, after about a year of the team's inception, Norval Austin was added as a third member. Regardless of the incarnation, the team of Condrey and beautiful Bobby Eaton would truly rise to superstardom under the management of Jim Cornette. And feuding with such great teams as the Fantastics, the Road Warriors, and perhaps most memorably, their feud with the Rock and Roll Express. Number 2, the Hart Foundation. The team of Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart is a great example of what a tag team really needs to be. With both trained by the legendary Stu Hart, they were not only each good technical wrestlers, but together they had a chemistry that made them look like they knew exactly what the other was thinking. And that was dangerous for their opponents. No matter how hard they made their opponents try to look good, you knew the Hart Foundation was a better team. Number 1, to no surprise, the Road Warriors. What is left to say about the Road Warriors that hasn't already been said? They held every major championship in every promotion back in the day. The AWA, the NWA, the WWF World Tag Team Champions. Hawk and Animal rose to heights of international wrestling popularity in the 80s and continued their dominance well into the 90s. As flashy as they were mean as well. The Road Warriors struck the perfect balance between showmanship and genuine toughness. They started their journey as heels. The crowd soon began to support the young duo and their manager, Paul Ellering. They are by far the best tag team of all time. This is my best tag teams of all time in wrestling history. I hope you enjoyed this video because it was really hard to make. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also leave me a comment as I do read them. Let me know what your top 10 tag teams are. Until next time, bye for now.
You